How's everyone? Good, good.
Byron, how refreshing was it to see those deep ball connections that you guys have been trying to get this year, but they happened in some big games?
It was good to see it happen, especially in the ball game, especially from those two, right? From those two, it was good to see those two finally get connected in a big way, right? They did it in a big way in a very important ball game, so it was good to see.
On the broadcast, it said Erin Andrews, I guess, spoke to you, and you had mentioned to her that you wanted to get back to attacking on first down. What spurred that? Like, why this week as opposed to previous? I know that they were giving you, 8-man fronts at times and some single high looks, but.
No, it wasn't first down. It was just in general, really. I think we're getting better as a group. I think this group is learning how to play the moments that we got to make plays, understanding what we got to do to really win football games. It's so hard to get that done when you're switching so many bodies in and out the huddle during the season. When it's OTAs and training camp, you do certain things from a physical standpoint every day so you can quickly get to a certain place. But that's tough in season. And I think we're getting to a point where we can just be in that mode more than not. Just
take those risks and feel comfortable doing it?
I don't see it as a risk. I just say just playing football in an aggressive way.
Byron, can you talk about Devin Tompkins, the development that he's made this year to go from the practice squad as an undrafted free agent to the active roster? And I would assume you might get some more reps on offense this week if you guys, are looking at maybe resting some starters or getting some guys out a little early. But what have you seen from Tompkins?
Same thing I said last week. Has been exceptional really since he's gotten here. It's really good from a technique standpoint. Very explosive player. He's a smaller guy that plays big. He jumps as high as you need to jump. He catches whatever ball he needed to catch. He's a hands catcher, so he can pluck the ball on the run while he's running fast. So he's a player that's been exciting really since he's gotten here and has earned his way onto the successes he's had, really earned everything that he's gotten since he's been here. You appreciate that as a coach. You appreciate that as a former player, a guy who's been in the locker room. It's always great to see players like that have success.
How will you manage winning the game, playing guys, and then maybe it gets to a point where you say, hey, we got to protect some people for the postseason. I mean, you got to play somebody, right? You got 53 in the roster.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like it's a preseason game.
So there's that, but still, every play is football. Things can happen, and you don't want to get anyone hurt ever. But how will you know? Is that a head coaching thing?
Yeah, I'll let Todd handle that. Really, who's ever out there going to play. I still think we got things to work on, things we can get better at. Really. So that's how I really see it. I don't have to think of that. That's Todd. He'll think and tell us what he needs to tell us however he wants from that standpoint. But, from my mindset, it's going out preparing, trying to play as good as football as possible as we can.
What do you need to work on? I've heard that several times. We got things we need to work on.
Everything. Even when we do things well, I don't think that's something that we can just say we got it.
Yeah.
I never view it that way. So I think it's something that you continuously got to work on it. Continuous situations happen in practice so we can communicate more and more about the things we do well, the things we don't do so well. So I just think as many as those opportunities, I think reps are so big in this league, especially with the practice schedule that we have. It's not as physical as it's been before. So as many as those communication game reps as you can get, I think the better. I really do.
Sorry, you talked about Tompkins. Are there other guys, if for whatever reason you are able to pull starters, are there other backups that you haven't played much that you'd like to see on Sunday?
Who's ever out there. I don't really want to get into. It don't matter. It's 11 people in the huddle. I expect the 11 to do well when they're in the huddle. So who's ever that is, I want to see them all play. I just like football. I like good football. So who's ever out there, I expect them to play at a certain level.
In a game like this that obviously doesn't have an impact on the playoff status for you guys, are you aware of like maybe records or incentives that guys are close to achieving that you'd like to get them to?
Y'all got to ask Shady that.
Kind of a good question, but I guess you kind of could expect that from me. 2005, you you missed 5 games at the end of the season, and then you started a postseason game. Lamar Jackson may be on a similar track. What are some of the challenges that come with that as a player when you miss a significant chunk at the end of the regular season, then all of a sudden you're thrust out there in the playoffs?
I ran into Thomas. I think that was the biggest problem. We ran into the Patriots, right? It's all unique. It's an individual thing. I don't want to speak on his situation at all, really. I got so much respect for him, so much respect for that coach there. I'm playing in Pittsburgh again, so I have so much respect for how they go about their business really up there. So they'll find out and do the right thing. It's all different. It's all depend on the person. It didn't work out for me, but he's a way better player than I was.
Did you feel rusty? I mean, because you're that position, it's not just a physical position, it's a cerebral position. So mentally, you've got to be so on top of things.
No, I felt great. We just lost to a better team. I felt great, actually.
We talked yesterday about, to coach about, Kyle Trask, who, I think he's been active maybe 1 game in his career. You see him out there early, we see how hard he works. But there's no reward in terms of playing, and that's just where he's at, right? But from your standpoint, when you see him at practice or you evaluate him, how much better has he gotten? Where has he gotten better? And is that hard to do as a player? Is like, hey man, you're going out there every day and there's no reward.
And his approach hasn't changed. That's the amazing thing about Kyle, the way he approaches it, right? I remember early in the year, people mad at Kyle Trask for not playing in front of Tom Brady. That blew my mind. That's even a conversation, right? Like, Tom's here and people mad at Kyle for not playing. You only play one at a time. It's not like other positions. So for him, he's came in, he's learned, the way he approaches it, this kid goes so hard every day, learning, get as whatever reps he get, he accepts and try to, execute them at a high level. So that's all you really can do. I think he understands his situation. I think he understands who he's behind. So it's good to see him get better, but we haven't seen him out there, right? We haven't really seen him officially out there doing it. I may have opinions of what I think he can do, but until he's given the opportunity to really go out there and do it, nobody would know really. But we feel good about what he's done throughout practice.
You can see him get better over the last few years.
Yes.
Are you curious? I'm sorry. Are you curious to see how it translates onto the field in a real game? I mean, you've watched him for 2 years.
As of right now, in 2023, I got my mind on other things. That's not how you think as a coach. He's playing behind Tom. What are we talking about, right? Let's not even have that conversation, right? Kid's working his tail off, though, but he's playing in front of the greatest ever. We're behind the greatest ever.
You may not know about this record, but Tom is 262 yards away from being the second all-time passing leader on this team in franchise history. To see him able to do that in 3 years.
On this?
40-something years. But to be number 2 and just be able to pull that off in 3 years, how amazing does that tell you?
I think it's shown what he's done since he's been here. I know we get a lot of slack for how this year turned out, but what we've done together has been unique. What he's done has been unique since he's been here. It just speaks for Tom, says who he is. That's unreal, though. I didn't even know that myself, but to be able to do that in 3 years, it really shows you the success we've had the first couple years here, the success. I know it looks bad to everybody, but I just can't. I think we're the 12th best offense in the league. Ain't that something? Still got a long way to go, right? Long way to go, but it just says a lot about who he is and what he brings to the table, about all the guys around him, and what the historic pace he's really been playing at since he's been here. Says a lot.
Speaking of that, 30 points a game isn't something that you've seen a lot of this year, but we saw it this past week against Carolina. And I know every week you tell us, we're closer than you guys probably think we are. And you saw that on Sunday. Did you see kind of a light kind of go on? Because it's hard sometimes when guys are out there and they're working and they don't quite get that light at the end of the tunnel, and all of a sudden it's there. And you have it.
I think it's been moments where we haven't really been that bad. I think you guys over-exaggerate because we look different. The numbers say we're not that far off. We're awful on third down and red zone. It's disappointing, those two things, for us as a team with who we have. But when you really listen to people talk about us, that's emotions talking. That's not really people that's watching us get better every week. For some reason, everybody want to throw dirt on the Bucs, but we're not ready for people to throw dirt on us.
Thanks, Byron. Thanks, Byron.
Hi guys, how you doing? Good afternoon.
Tom, you've played for 3 head coaches in 23 years in the NFL. What's Todd Bowles been like to play for? What do you like about his coaching style, and how would you describe it?
Yeah, he's done a great job, and just enjoy my time with him. And obviously, I played against him for quite a while too. He's got great presence, great leadership. Yeah, he does a great job. I think there's high expectations. He's got a lot of experience, and it's been a lot of fun.
You guys both self-deprecate a lot. What other similarities do you guys have personality-wise?
I mean, we both love football, so I think that's a good place to start. We're here to win games and be professional, and I think that not getting too up or too down over the course of a long season. I think everyone, I was saying today, it doesn't matter what team you're in. Everyone's been through, it's 17 games. It's a long. I'm sure you guys are feeling it too. It's the way it is for everybody. So anyone who's involved in it, it's a long marathon, and I think having the consistency to show up every day and be the same person is a great trait. And it's you can't be one way when you lose and another way when you win, and another way at the beginning of the season, another way at the end of the season. I think you got to have a lot of consistency to the process of trying to improve and be the best you could be over the course of a long year.
Tom, going into a game like this where it's not going to impact your playoff status, are you aware or are players aware, or do they think about personal records or achieving maybe incentives at this point in a game like this?
I don't know what everyone else thinks about, so I think we're football players. It's football season. We play football, so that's how I feel.
How important it is, how much it means to you to play Sunday, even though there's not anything to be gained or lost in the playoff standings. When you had these games with the Patriots over the years, where you're playing and maybe leaving after a quarter, after a half, what is your mentality like in those games?
I think anytime you take the field, you want to go be, the best you could be. It's your team's asking you to, when you're out there, to perform at a very high level. So that's what you're trying to do. I don't think that it's, I don't always feel like every game's important, for one reason or another. I don't care. Spring practice is important. Off-season workouts are important. Everything's important. So to minimize the importance of a game makes no sense to me. So I don't see it that way. It's a very tough game. I prepared this week like I prepare every single week, and it's it's a tough defense. We didn't play great against them last time. They have some good players, really well coached. They haven't had the type of year they wanted, but they'll try to finish strong. I believe that. So that's what we got to try to do too.
Tom, we've seen an outpouring of support across the league for Damar Hamlin, yourself included. Can you just share what the NFL family is like and how you guys come together to support one of your own when he needs it?
Yeah, I think that I don't think I can really say anything that probably hasn't been said already, but we all have a lot of heartfelt thoughts for him, and he's obviously a great young man, and we all hope he recovers.
Does something like that hit you differently now that not only are you playing, but now you have a son that's playing as well?
Yeah, I think it hits all of us. It hits all of us. I think just the you're watching it live, and it's a tough thing for anyone to watch. And I think we all just love what we do. We love playing, and you don't always think about the consequences of playing. And sometimes and it's a totally different situation. But when I had my ACL, I didn't take it for granted anymore. Just playing, I never really got injured, and I don't think any of us, when you're reminded of really tough situations like that, and like I said, I sure hope he recovers. But hopefully no one takes anything for granted. This is a very challenging sport, and it's a very physical sport, and we have a great deal of respect for one another, and people try to play it, and it's just a very, very tough incident for all of us to grasp.
Byron just talked about it. A lot of people may not see the progress that you guys have shown throughout the season because people get spoiled with you guys putting up 30 points for 2 straight years. But he said there has been a lot of progress. Where would you see maybe the biggest growth that you're starting to build as you head into these playoffs here?
Well, I think over the year, different things have changed with our offense, and players have changed. Some scheme things have changed. Some things we've done consistently well. Some things we haven't, and we try to get rid of those things. So I think the point is you're always trying to gain progress every day, and certainly, we didn't start at a great place. There's certain games where it was probably better early and worse late. Some games where it was not great early and great late, and we're going to have to play really well this week, and then obviously this week will determine. It's not going to change who. It might change who we're playing. We don't know who we're playing, but we can't change the 4 spot. But we got to play good. We got to feel good, and we got to emotionally be at a good place, and mentally and physically. Go out there and be ready to roll.
Can you feel it's coming together though?
I mean, I think that's you got to go earn it. I mean, my feeling is you got to earn it Thursday, you got to earn it Friday, you got to earn it Saturday, you got to earn it Sunday. I don't know what's going to happen the week after that, but today we had a good practice, so
it's important about wanting to play, and you're going to play about the last game. Even doesn't affect your playoff spot, but like in 2009, I think you lost Wes Welker, or I'm sorry, it was Wes the last game. Did that hurt your chances in the playoffs? Did you feel like, well, it's just football, and we would have been better if he hadn't played or I had, you know what I mean? Like, there's a risk reward, I guess, for getting out there.
Yeah, and I think hindsight's always 20/22. So there's a lot of years where we was the number 1 seed. I played and did great, and it helped. And I think you have so many times to improve. And of course, you could look at a situation and say, "Well, wish that situation was different." And I think there's a lot of those. And football's a contact sport, so there are risks every time we take the field. And if you sit out this week and then you go out there and the first play of the game, you get hurt too. So I don't know. You would like to limit exposure. Well, as we said, it's a contact sport, and anything can happen. And I think the point that what you're always trying to do is improve as a football team. That should be the priority.
Right.
Yeah. The reality is, how do you improve and get better? Do you sit? Do you play? What plays you run? Who plays? Those are all things for people to decide based on. Everyone's got different individual situations and team situations and so forth. So my view is, I'm ready to play. I've never missed a game in my life. I don't ever want to miss a game now. Well, actually, I've missed a few games, but I was hurt and
2 weeks ago, you mentioned the process of trying to get things right is more important than the outcome. And as long as you keep enjoying it, that's the point. Your career has always been defined by winning, and I know you enjoy that quite a bit, but has your mentality about playing changed in recent years? Like you spoke about the process and the joy.
Yeah.
Has that kind of changed and taken more precedent rather than just the outcome and just winning?
Well, I think what you realize is, like I said, everything's earned. And, I think, you feel when you've put the time and energy in, and have you done everything it takes to be prepared for what you're about to face. And then ultimately, when you were faced with those 3 hours, how did you perform? And I think that process you always want to improve to give you the most margin of error every single week. Sometimes your margin of error is very, very thin. You play a great football team. You don't have a lot of margin of error. You can't turn the ball over 3 times. Sometimes you play a team that they're not as talented. You can probably have some more mistakes. That doesn't mean you should make mistakes. It means maybe you'll win if you make them. But the reality of pro football is every team has the same money to spend. Every team, the better teams play the better schedules. There's nothing easy about it. So, done a good job. There's a lot of teams that are kind of middle of the pack this year. There's a few teams that have probably excelled, and who knows what. I was on some of those teams that really excelled and didn't do great in the postseason. and saw other teams who were kind of middle of the pack and did great. And I've been on teams that were great and stayed great. So all that remains for the future. And that's why everyone loves watching live television and live football like we all do. But you got to go earn it. And I think the point is, I think for me, I can sleep well at night knowing that if I did the very best I could, that's where I feel like I want to gain the trust and respect of my teammates, that I did my very best for them because, that's what they expected from me. So thank you guys.